What is the smallest positive integer that has 12 factors? Alright, this looks like a tough one. But if you haven't seen my video lesson on counting divisors, I would recommend that you watch that first, okay? I recorded it just before I actually recorded the solutions to this one, so that you could refer to that. But the result of that is basically that if we have a number, let's say 18, and we want to know how many factors it has, the first thing we need to do is write it in terms of its prime factors. Okay, so 18 is 2 times 3 squared. Okay, so that's in terms of its prime factors. So 2 and 3 are prime. And then we look at the exponents on the prime factors and add 1 to them. All right, so so this is essentially the same as 2 to the 1. All right, so 1 plus 2 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So we have 6 factors of 18. Okay, and the reason for that is that a factor of 18 has some combination of 2's and 3's in it. We can't have any factor of 18 that has a 5 in it. You know, we're not going to get any prime factors in the factors of 18 that don't have the prime factors that are in 18. Okay, so basically our choices on the power, the number of 2's that we include in a factor, are we either have no 2's or we have 1 2. All right, and then for the 3's we can have no 3's, we can have we can have 1 3, or we can have 2 3's. Okay, and the same way if we have 1 2, we can either have 0 3's, we can have 1 3, or we can have 2 3's. So that's how we end up with the 6. And we just add 1 to the power on the prime factors in order to account for the 0, the fact that we can have 0 of that particular prime factor in the divisor of 18. Okay, so if that wasn't quite clear, make sure you watch this counting divisors lesson. All right, so based on that, we know that if we have a positive integer that has 12 factors, we had to get that. We either had we could have some prime number to the 11th power. That would give us 12 factors. But basically we need to look at the factors of 12, right? So 12 is what, 3 times 4, which is 2 times 2. Okay, so 12 is 2 squared times 3. And so the factors of 12 are either 1 and 12, or 2 and 6, or 3 and 4. Or we can do 2 times 2 times 3. Okay? So let's look at those options. We could have some prime number to the 11th power, and the smallest prime number is 2. So 2 to the 11th power ends up being 2048. Okay? That's pretty big. So that takes care of this case. All right. We could have some prime to the first power times some prime to the 5th power. Okay, that would give us 12 factors, right? Because 1 plus 2 times 5 plus 1. Okay, so I say 1 plus 1 and 5 plus 1. We multiply those together, we would get 12. All right. So let's see. The smallest prime is 2. Let's make the 2 the one that's to the 5th. So 2 to the 5th. Because if I make that 3, that's going to be obviously bigger, and we're looking for the smallest positive integer. So let's say 2 to the 5th times 3. Okay, and that's equal to 32 times 3, which is 96. Okay, so that takes care of this case. That would be the smallest number that would have something to the 5th times something to the 1st power. Okay, and 96 is smaller, so we're getting there. It's smaller, so this one is obviously not the case. Let's look at the 3 and the 4. So we could have p, one of the primes squared and one of the primes cubed. That would give us, the number of factors would be 1 plus 2 and 1 plus 3. So 3 times 4. That would give us 12 factors. Okay, let's make the 2 to the biggest power. And we'll make a 3, since that's the next smallest prime, squared. Now what does that give us? It's 4 times 9. Sorry, not 4 times 9, 8 times 9, which is 72. Alright, so that's better. Alright, we're getting there. Let's look at, that takes care of this case. Alright, so let's look at this case. If we had 2 times 2 times 3 to give us the 12 factors, that would be 1 prime to the first power, another prime to the first power, and another prime squared. Okay, so if we add 1 to each prime and multiply, or 1 to each power and multiply, we would get 12, so there would be 12 factors. Alright, so, alright, let's make the 2 to the biggest power, so that would be 2 squared times 3, the next biggest prime, and the next biggest prime is 5. So if I multiply those all together, that's going to be 15 times 4, which is 60. Alright, well that's our best case. And then we've gone through all the possibilities. And so 60 is our smallest positive integer that has 12 factors.